Hello all, I am the Holland Phantom, and for today's video we're going to be having a live battle from the 2007 format. On one side, we've got the Infernape and Delcatty deck going up against the Electivire deck on the other side. The Infernape deck is going to be focused on using Delcatty's energy draw ability to discard fire energies to draw through the deck as quickly as possible, while powering up Infernape's Flare Blitz attack with double rainbow energy for fast damage. Infernape level X and Delcatty EX can also be used as powerful attackers once the player has enough energy in the discard pile. And the Electivire deck is going to be focused on using Dragonite's Delta Charge ability to attach lightning energies from the discard pile to their benched Pokemon, which can then be moved to the active Electivire with its Intense Voltage ability, allowing it to consistently hit for massive damage with its Giga Impact attack. So we'll see which of these two decks can take the victory today. But before we begin, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel and to my Twitter account at Holland_Phantom so you don't miss out on any new Pokemon TCG content. And also, I'd like to give a shout out to YouTube user Redhead Games for becoming a channel member. Thank you so much for the support, we really appreciate it. And now with that out of the way, let's get into the battle! And here we go, the battle has started, with both players to bring over their starting Pokemon. On the Infernape side, we got Skitty as the active Pokemon, and on the Electivire side, we got Dratini as the active Pokemon. The Infernape side is going first, attaching a Fire Energy to the active Skitty, and then attacking with Tail Whip. But the coin flip was the tail, so the attack did nothing. And now over to the other side, the player's going to be starting off by using Holland Transceiver to search their deck for any Holland Supporter card. And the one chosen is going to be the Holland Mentor, discarding a Dragonite from the hand, to then choose 3 basic Pokemon from the deck to add to their hand. Okay, they're going to be choosing an Elekid, Holland's Cast Form, and another Dratini, all coming down onto the bench now. So it's going to be using this turn to set up their bench so far. There we see the attachment for the turn, a Lightning Energy to the active Dratini. And now the Elekid's going to be using the ability to evolve into Electabuzz. And now Electabuzz activates its own ability, Power of Evolution, to draw the bottom card of the deck. Okay, there we see the first attack from this side, Hook, hitting Skitty for 10 damage. And now over to the other side once again, starting off with their own Holland Mentor, discarding Holland Adventurer from the hand for 3 basic Pokemon of their own. So let's see what they're going to be choosing. Okay, there we see a Chimchar coming down, along with another Skitty. And a second Chimchar. Okay, so there we see 2 Chimchar and 2 Skitty on the field so far for this side. And now the active Skitty is going to be discarding the Fire Energy to pay the retreat cost to promote the Chimchar. And there's the attack. It's going to be the Scratch attack. It's going to be a free attack hitting for 10 damage into the Dratini. So no energy was attached for this turn. Over to the other side. There we see a Lightning Energy coming down to the Holland's Cast Form on the bench. Dratini is going to be paying the retreat cost to go back to the bench. And now Cast Form is going to be the active Pokemon. Once again, there we see the Electabuzz ability, Power of Evolution, to draw another card from the bottom of the deck. And then we see the Rare Candy coming down to evolve one of the Dratini straight into the Dragonite. It's going to be the main energy accelerator of this deck. And then we see the Dragonite's ability, Delta Charge, getting a lightning energy from the discard pile onto... which Pokemon is it going to be? Okay, onto itself. So 1 lightning energy on Dragonite, and then we see the supporter for the turn, Celios Network, to search the deck for any Pokemon tied to the player's hand. It's going to be another Elekid, which immediately comes down onto the bench now. Does the player have another Electabuzz? Not yet, but there is the attack, Delta Draw, to draw 1 card for every Delta species Pokemon on their side of the field. It's going to be a total of 4. Okay, quickly over to the other side now. Let's see what the Infernape player can do. One of the Skitty is going to be evolving into Delcatty to activate the ability Energy Draw, discarding a Fire Energy to draw 3 cards from the deck. So let's see if they get any more evolutions off this. Okay, not yet, but this could do it. There we see the Celios Network from this side now to search the deck for Monferno, evolving the active Chimchar. But does the player have a Fire Energy to attach onto it? And yes, they do. There's the attack, Flame Dance, hitting for 30 damage and also attaching a discarded Fire Energy onto the Monferno. Okay, back over to the Electivire side now. The Elekid on the bench evolves into another Electabuzz, and now both Electabuzz can activate their abilities, Power of Evolution, to draw 2 cards from the bottom of the deck now. Followed by another Holland Mentor, discarding a Lightning Energy from the hand for 3 more basic Pokemon from the deck. Alright, there we see an Elekid, another Dratini, and another Electabuzz. So we're going to be probably seeing the Elekid evolve directly into the Electabuzz this turn. Also giving the player 1 more card to draw off the ability. Yeah, there's the Elekid, evolves straight into the Electabuzz. And there's a Delta Charge from the Dragonite, getting back a discarded Lightning Energy onto itself once again. So 2 lightning energy on the Dragonite so far. And there we see the third Power of Evolution, drawing 1 more card from the bottom of the deck. And there's the Delta draw, drawing 5 more cards off the top of the deck, so that was a total of 8 cards drawn. A lot of draw power from this side. Okay, over to the Infernape side again. Okay, they're going to be starting off by using another Celios Network for another Pokemon out of the deck. There we see the second Delcatty coming down, so the player's going to be having access to 2 energy draw abilities. There's the first one, discarding a Fire Energy for 3 cards out of the deck. Did they get the second energy? Okay, then we see a third Chimchar coming down to the bench. And yes, there's the second energy draw, discarding another Fire Energy to draw another 3 cards. And now does the player have the Infernape? Okay, yes they do. There's a rare candy to evolve one of the bench Chimchar. So it's not going to be the active Monferno evolving. And now the new Infernape is going to be getting double colorless energy. And there's the attack, Flame Dance. Taking the KO against the Holland's Cast form. And taking the first prize of the game. Monferno also gets the third Fire Energy. Although it might not matter because we might be seeing the first KO coming through from the Electivire side. As one of the Electabuzz does come into the active spot. And now all 3 Electabuzz activate their abilities, Power of Evolution, to draw 3 more cards off the bottom of the deck. And then we see the Delta Charge. So it's going to be 3 energy on the Dragonite so far. So as long as the player has the energy to attach from their hand for the turn, and also provided that they have the Electivire, yes, there it is, they can move all this lightning energy onto the Electivire with intense voltage. But it's actually not going to be necessary because the player does have the Scramble energy, which activates when the player is behind in prizes, so Scramble energy now counts as a triple Rainbow energy. So the Electivire just needs 1 lightning energy, which it gets off the Dragonite with its intense voltage. And there we see the Holland Transceiver to search the deck for the Holland Adventurer now, giving the player some more draw power for their side of the field. Okay, the Adventurer is activated, discarding the Gold Star Rayquaza. Okay, so it looks like the player's not going to be using this turn. Okay, and there's the attack. Giga Impact, discarding all lightning energy from the Electivire, hitting for 120 damage to take the KO against Infernape, and taking the first prize for the Electivire side. Now both sides are tied, 5 prizes remaining apiece. Okay, on the other side, the Infernape comes up as an active Pokemon, and the player's going to be activating their Holland Transceiver to search the deck for a Holland Lass as their supporter. So are they going to be activating it? And yes, they are. Holland Lass is activated, discarding a Holland Mentor from the hand. And now the player can search the top 10 cards of their deck. 1 card for each remaining prize on both sides of the field. And now the player can look at these top 10 cards and keep any energies that they find. So there's 1 Fire Energy. And, okay, so 3 Fire Energy total. And 1 Rainbow Energy coming into the player's hand. So good for thinning out the deck. And also to give the player some fodder for the energy draw off the Delcattys. There's the first one, discarding 1 of the Fire Energies to draw 3 more cards. And there's the second one, discarding another Fire Energy for another 3 cards. Now, does the player have another Rare Candy and Infernape to evolve their bench Chimchar? Okay, not yet, but there we see the final Chimchar coming down to the bench. And the active Infernape levels up into its level X form to activate the ability Burning Head. The player can look at the top 3 cards of their deck, keep 1, and then discard the other 2. So they're going to be discarding the Celios Network and a Fire Energy. A Skitty also comes down to the bench, so now they have a full bench. And the manual attachment is going to be the Fire Energy onto the bench Chimchar, and there's the attack. It looks like it's going to be the Flare-Up attack. The player needs to shuffle 8 Fire Energy from the discard pile back into the deck to deal the damage, and it looks like they have exactly 8 to hit for 150 damage. Actually 140 because the double Rainbow Energy does decrease the damage by 10, but it's still more than enough for the 1-hit KO against Electivire. And that's going to be the second prize card taken by the Infernape player. Okay, there we see another Electabuzz coming into the active spot. Both Electabuzz activate the Power of Evolution to draw 2 more cards from the bottom of the deck. Does the player have the Rare Candy to evolve their Dratini? Okay, they bench another Elekid, which evolves into another Electabuzz, giving the player 1 more draw off the bottom of the deck. Okay, now they're going to be activating another Holland Transceiver, searching the discard pile this time for the Holland Adventurer once again, discarding Lightning Energy to draw 3 cards off the top of the deck now. It looks like they're going to be digging for Electivire or the Rare Candy, and speaking of, there it is. Rare Candy, evolving one of the Dratini straight into a second Dragonite, giving the player access to 2 Delta Charge abilities now. And there's a Stadium for the turn. Holland Ruins. The player activates it to draw 1 card, and then also they have to discard 1 card from their hand. So they're going to be discarding another Lightning Energy to get back with the Delta Charge. So speaking of, there's both of the Delta Charges activating, getting back 2 Lightning Energies, and attaching both of them onto the bench Dragonite. So Dragonite is now fully powered up with 4 Lightning Energies. Although we might be seeing them all be moving up to the active Electivire. Yeah, there it is. Unless the player has another Scramble Energy. And they do, actually. Scramble Energy comes down to the Electivire, counting as a triple Rainbow Energy. So it just needs 1 more energy off the bench Dragonite. And that's going to be enough for the KO this turn. Alright, there's going to be the attack Giga Impact, discarding all the energy from the Electivire to take the KO against Infernape, tying up the game once again at 4 prizes remaining apiece. Okay, there we see the Chimchar coming into the active spot. The player's going to be activating the Professor Elm's training method to search their deck for another Infernape. So the player must already have a Rare Candy in their hand. Yeah, there it is, Rare Candy to evolve Chimchar straight into its final form, Infernape. It just needs 1 more energy to be fully powered up to use Flare Blitz. And as long as the player has one of the plus power, they can take the one-hit KO against Electivire. Okay, there we see an energy draw. And there's the second one, discarding a Fire Energy to draw 3 more cards. Does the player have the second Fire Energy and the plus power? Okay, there we see the Windstorm, discarding the Holland Ruins from the opponent's side. There's the Fire Energy. They can hit for 90 damage. And there's the plus power. This should be enough for the KO. And there's the attack, Flare Blitz, taking the KO against Electivire. That's going to be 3 prizes remaining for the Infernape player. Okay, there's the next Electabuzz coming into the active spot. Both of the Electabuzz activate their abilities, drawing the bottom 2 cards of the deck. There should be 1 more Electivire left in the player's deck now. There we see the second Holland Ruins coming down, drawing 1 card off the top of the deck, and then discarding 1 card from their hand. So they discard a Lightning Energy. And there's both of the Delta Charges, getting 2 more Lightning Energy from the discard pile. Onto the Dragonite once again. This Dragonite now has 5 energy on it. And there's the next Electivire. It's going to be the final one of the deck, so just in case this one gets KO'd, the player does not have any left. They're going to be having to use their Holland Farmer to shuffle some discarded Pokemon back into their deck. Okay, there's the Intense Voltage, moving 3 Lightning Energy off the Dragonite onto the Electivire. Yeah, and there we see the Holland Farmer now, discarding Holland's Cast Form to search the discard pile for... let's see what it's going to be. Okay, 2 Electivire, 1 Electabuzz, 1 Lightning Energy. Okay, looks like that's going to be it. So just 4 cards being shuffled back into the deck now. So as long as the player has a way to draw back into their Electivire, they should be able to attack on the following turn. Okay, there's the attack, another Giga Impact, discarding all the Lightning Energy from the Electivire, taking the KO against Infernape. Once again, tying up the game, this time at 3 prizes remaining apiece. Remaining pretty tie on both sides. Okay, on the Infernape side, the Skitty comes into the active spot. Okay, it immediately evolves into Delcatty EX. So the player might be trying to use the upstream attack to take the KO this turn. There we see the first energy draw. There's the second one, discarding a Fire Energy to draw 3 more cards. The upstream hits for 10 damage times the number of discarded energy cards in the player's, well, discard pile. So as long as they have 10 energy discarded, they can take the KO against Electivire. Okay, there's the ability from the Delcatty, Constrain, forcing both players to discard cards from their hand until they have 6 cards remaining apiece, and that is a ton of cards that both players are discarding, so there should be enough energy in the discard pile to take the KO. There's the manual attachment of Fire Energy on the Delcatty, and there's the attack, upstream, hitting for, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 14, looks like 140 damage. A huge attack, taking the KO against Electivire, taking another prize card, and once again, the Infernape player has taken the lead. They've got 2 prizes left. Okay, the Electabuzz comes into the active spot now. Can the player draw into their Electivire this turn? There we see the power of evolution from the Electabuzz. And there's a Hall in Ruins. Drawing one card off the top of the deck and then discarding the Celios Network. Okay, they could have used it to search out the deck for the Electivire, so they might already have it in hand. They would seen under Rare Candy to evolve their final Dratini into another Dragonite. And there's all three of the Delta charges activating. Getting 3 discarded lightning energies. Onto the same Dragonite once again. It's got 5 energy. And yes, the player does have the Electivire. They must have gotten off one of the draws they had this turn. And there's the Celios Network as her supporter card for the turn to search the deck for an Electabuzz. Because this Electabuzz did not evolve from the Elekid, so it cannot use its Power of Evolution ability. There's the manual attachment, lightning energy onto the benched Electabuzz, and there's intense voltage. Moving, looks like it's going to be 4 energy off the Dragonite onto the active Electivire to fully power it up. And that should be enough to take the KO against Delcatty EX's turn. There's the attack, Giga Impact, taking the KO against Delcatty and taking 2 prize cards, as it was a KO against an EX Pokemon, and now Electivire is in the lead with 1 prize left to take. There we see the Chimchar coming into the active spot. The Infernape player activates Celios Network for... Do they have the Infernape? Okay, yeah, that's going to be the... I think it should be their final Infernape now. There's a Rare Candy, evolving Chimchar into Infernape. Okay, so they need double Rainbow Energy and 2+ powers to take the KO against Electivire. Okay, they just discarded a double Rainbow Energy, drawing 3 cards out of the deck. There we see the second energy draw, discarding another Fire Energy for 3 more cards. Do they have the cards they need? Okay, yeah, there's the double Rainbow Energy, hitting for 80 damage. And there's both of the plus power. Yeah, there's the attack. Flare Blitz, taking the KO against Electivire. And taking the 5th... the 5th prize card for the Infernape player, so both sides are tied. 1 prize remaining apiece. Although the Electivire player might have it this turn, as long as they can power up their final Infernape. The Dragonite comes into the active spot. And there's all 3 Delta charges, getting 3 lightning energy, I assume onto the Electabuzz. But does the player have a way to pay the retreat cost for this Dragonite? It does need 2 energy to retreat. Okay, Electabuzz evolves into Electivire. And there's Mr. Brightest Compassion. It's going to be the supporter card to pick up the Dragonite back into the hand to promote the Electivire. And there's the final attack. Giga Impact to take the KO against Infernape and take the final prize card. And there's the handshake. Electivire is your winner. So what did you guys think of that battle? Let me know down in the comments below. And be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and share this video to help this channel grow and reach new viewers. Thanks a lot for watching, and until next time, this is the Holland Phantom logging out.